Of all the fights, nothing really was tough.
Floyd fired the referee in the middle of the bout. He stops the bout. He's like, get the fuck out of here. Get out.
Gio got robbed.
Max Kellerman is leaving no doubt about where he stands. Known for his sharp, analytical mind, he didn't just share an opinion. He unleashed it, taking direct aim at one of the sport's biggest icons. And in doing so, he might have just lit a fuse, sparking a storm that's splitting fans in half and making everyone rethink everything they believed about the game and its legends.
Sugar Ray Robinson, how many wins he got? I said he got like over 150 wins. He stopped for me. He said, but who got more championship titles, me or him? I said, hold on, Floyd. He said, answer the question. I said, Floyd, there's more titles now than then. There was just one then. That's no fair. Answer the question. I said, okay, you. Do I not have 28 titles? And I was just like, I don't know. He said, oh, you're supposed to be the expert. But the reason why I said that is because there's minor and major titles. Who else greater than me? I said, Henry Armstrong, Roberto Duran. He said, oh my God. He said, you said something about Pacquiao. Yeah, I said, I think you'll beat Pacquiao every day of the week, but I think he had a greater career. He said, you ain't think Pacquiao was on steroids? I said, he didn't fail any tests, Floyd. He said, look at me in my eyes. I can't say, man, he didn't fail. He said, oh man, you failed. I saw that as a initiation. This is what you about to get. Nobody's greater than Floyd. My thing is, he should feel that way, but you can't expect everybody to feel that you're the greatest.
He's been loud, relentless, and brutally honest in his mission to tear down Floyd Mayweather's legacy. And now, he's made one thing crystal clear. In his eyes, there's a new undefeated king.
Wild, because like if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time.
Oh, yes.
That makes a difference to people.
Who deploy a fight that was on his level when he fought? Only Canelo. That's it. Don't give me that stuff about the other guy that was going to prison. Cotto, an all-time great? No. Cotto's an all-time Puerto Rican great. You waited till Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez before you fought him. If you'd have fought him 4 years ago, it'd have been something. Because both of y'all were here. We'd have found out who the best was. He fought Shane Mosley at 38 years old, and it still was a good fight while he left. Shane almost took him out at 38. He fought Oscar De La Hoya at an old age. My point is, you didn't do it the right way. You know that. Who else did you fight besides them biggest, best two names you can pull up? I'm just saying, Floyd never fought nobody that was of his equal.
It all began with whispers, the kind that always trail behind a legend like Floyd Mayweather. Even in retirement, his presence hangs heavy over the sport, and every word he speaks still echoes with power.
Provided everyone unrealistic expectations. You could win every fight, basically never get hit, and make all the money. it's not going to work like that for the most part for everybody, you know? Like, it literally only went that way for one guy.
I love Floyd, but it seems like everybody's afraid to have that O, to have a 1 or 2 where the O used to be. Ali?
It started like any other debate. Talks about today's pound-for-pound king, Terrence Bud Crawford, were heating up everywhere. And right then, Mayweather's camp began to stir, dropping subtle hints that questioned the reign of the modern era's top dog. It wasn't an official challenge, but a few carefully placed words meant to remind the world who once ruled the throne. Yet this time, that familiar Mayweather tactic backfired, because Max Kellerman, who studied Floyd's every move, heard those whispers, and when he fired back, no one was ready for the storm he unleashed.
Floyd was fighting everyone right up until the point where he started to make money. But as much credit as you get for making, the primacy of business, for making business your priority, well, that comes with trade-offs, because when you make business decisions constantly, sometimes your athletic achievements won't be regarded in the same way as if you made athletic achievements your priority. That said, Mayweather has accomplished a tremendous amount athletically. But the 3 fighters he didn't fight, Antonio Margarito, Manny Pacquiao, when he was obliterating De La Hoya, Hatton, and Cotto, and Shane
Shane Mosley when he still has something left. And while he will wind up fighting Pacquiao and Mosley, it'll both be, at the right time for Floyd. That said, what about at the right time for Floyd? He's also ancient. A fighter approaching 40, fighting at the level Mayweather is fighting, is unheard of. Mayweather, until recent times, would be considered one of the greatest older fighters of that would be the whole story. Oh my God, can you believe how old Mayweather is? It's a little bit unfair to Floyd to say, well, you're picking these guys at the right time. Floyd is old.
This wasn't the calm, analytical Kellerman fans were used to. This was raw, unfiltered emotion, and it was about to flip the entire boxing world upside down. The first shockwave hit when Kellerman tackled the holy grail of debates, Mayweather versus Crawford. But instead of praising Floyd's spotless record, he dropped a line that froze the room. He claimed Terence Crawford, with his fearless hunger for the toughest fights, has already carved out a legacy more powerful and more real than Mayweather's. In his words, these were two completely different worlds. He painted Mayweather, especially after leaving the lightweight division, as a chess player both inside and outside the ropes. A man who built his resume like a brand, hand-picking opponents, waiting for the right moment, sometimes until their best days were long behind them.
The Pacquiao you're describing, who knocked out Ricky Hatton, who YouTubed Ricky Hatton, turned YouTube into a verb, what he did to Ricky Hatton, and then destroyed Cotto, and before that, and then just the way he beat De La Hoya even before that, just...
Well, De La Hoya was old, though.
Sure, but Mayweather fought those guys basically at the same point in their career that Pacquiao did, before them. Okay. And the reason that Mayweather-Pacquiao fight was hyped up to the extent that it was is that, boy, Mayweather's this all-time great, and Pacquiao is doing these guys even worse than Floyd is doing them. Everyone wanted to see that fight. That Pacquiao's been gone for a long time. So why don't fighters retire when they should?
He didn't just hint at it. He said it straight up. But then, when he turned his focus to Crawford, everything changed. His tone softened, filled with respect, almost awe. He spoke of Bud like a warrior from another era, a fighter who chased danger, who never ducked a challenge, and who wanted every ounce of smoke the sport could throw at him.
I put 5, that's right.
Wow. That's cheating.
I love it.
That is cheating.
That's a heel turn.
You the boss.
That
I love
is heel.
it.
That's a heel turn.
I love it. You do got 5.
Now, here's the thing.
Wow.
Roy at his peak. Just remember this. If Roy would have retired after the Ruiz fight, he would have replaced Sugar Ray Robinson as the greatest fighter of all time.
I agree.
Right?
I
but
agree.
he didn't, and the rest of that stuff is in there, right? So I get it. But Roy at his peak, I think, had a higher peak than anyone on this list.
I agree.
Okay, Manny Pacquiao, we've all said it a million times. I think he is, outside of Sugar Ray Robinson, I have Manny Pacquiao second greatest pound-for-pound fighter ever. Floyd Mayweather never lost. And did he cherry pick when and where? Yes. But guys, from 130, 135, he cleaned out 135. He beat the best guy at 130, beat the best guy at 135. Yes, did he pick and choose at 140, 47, and 54? Yeah, but he won all those fights.
That's right.
And he beat a lot of good fighters.
50-0.
And more than that, put Floyd at his best in with anyone through history. You do not know who wins. Floyd Mayweather beat Manny Pacquiao, it's true. Floyd is one of the top 10 greatest pound-for-pound fighters who ever lived. Tough to argue otherwise. But pound for pound, he can't be above Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was a flyweight champion. Not that he turned pro at flyweight. He was good enough as a flyweight to be the lineal champion, the real champion. Now, he didn't win titles in every division. He skipped some of these, but I just want to tell you how flyweight, junior bantam, junior feather, junior light, junior welter,
He's rapping again.
Junior middle.
He rolling.
And he laid waste to these divisions. Yeah. He fought great fighters. He never ducked anybody.
Mayweather, no disrespect at all to him. He's one of my favorite fighters growing up. Love watching him fight. Perhaps the greatest boxing business person of all time. Yeah. Look at actual boxers in the business. But I don't want to see many fighters come out of retirement. He's done everything he can do. He's one of the best fighters of all time. Stay retired.
He pointed straight to Crawford's destruction of Errol Spence Jr. and his brilliant win over Canelo Alvarez as proof no one could deny. To Kellerman, that fearless drive to fight anyone, anytime wasn't just impressive. It was the heartbeat of true greatness. And he didn't hesitate to say that's exactly what Mayweather's later years were missing. That statement alone could have lit the fuse for a full-on war, but Kellerman wasn't done. Not even close.
He fired the referee in the middle of the bout. He stops the bout. He's like, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Because he's the promoter also.
Well, I guess. I mean, also, it's Floyd Mayweather. Like, what's the referee going to do? Floyd throws this punch, and he's 100% correct. The punch landed the side of the head. It's a right hook. It's a perfect punch. And the referee was saying, watch the back of the head. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That wasn't the back of the head. And so he kicks the guy out. And they bring in a different referee who finishes the fight. It was insanity.
But to really feel the weight of this moment, you've got to understand, this isn't the first time Max Kellerman has gone head-to-head with Floyd Mayweather. Their names have been tied together for years by one of the most haunting predictions in modern boxing. A ghost that still follows Kellerman everywhere he goes. Long before the mega fight with Manny Pacquiao, Kellerman was the loudest, most confident voice, claiming Mayweather's time was almost up. He swore that Floyd's flawless defense would soon collapse, that age and the grind of the sport would finally catch him, and that the perfect record would shatter for good.
What'd your top 5 be?
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Number 1?
Yeah, and then pound for pound. See, Pacquiao he started as a flyweight champ. Not just he started his career there. He was the champion at flyweight and then moved up. There are so many divisions between flyweight and junior middleweight where he also won a belt. Even the fact that he could compete with Floyd Mayweather, who's a naturally bigger guy and one of the greatest pure boxers, Pacquiao's overall body of work, you could have him second pound for pound behind Sugar Ray Robinson.
How come I'm watching highlights of him knocking people out though, as little as he is, man?
Oh, that dude. It's the calves, man. He's got those fast twitchies and those big calves jump in on you and generate a lot of power. Crazy hand speed and power from a southpaw. Really awkward, hard to beat, lightning fast. Pacquiao was all that.
He wasn't just predicting a loss. He was calling for a total collapse. But that collapse never came. Mayweather went on to dismantle Pacquiao and retire undefeated, turning Kellerman's bold prediction into a running joke among boxing fans, a symbol of his supposed bias against Money Mayweather. And that history changes everything about today's debate. It forces a question. Is Kellerman's push to elevate Crawford's legacy an honest analysis? Or a final move in a decade-long chess game? A way to rewrite the past and win an argument he lost years ago by redefining greatness itself. He flat out said Floyd doesn't even rank above Manny Pacquiao. He argued that Pacquiao's climb from a flyweight underdog to a welterweight destroyer, conquering division after division without ducking anyone, was something far more historic than Mayweather's carefully managed, precision-planned career could ever claim to be.
Pacquiao wasn't able to make flyweight. He was a flyweight who won the lineal championship. So if that's not the most, or one of the 2 or 3 most impressive things in the history of boxing, the fact that he could move up, give me an example of another flyweight who was the lineal champion, moved up, won a bunch of titles in between, and then was that good as a welterweight. Pacquiao won lineal titles, indisputable, that's the man who beat the man, or else putting belts together. No one had ever done it before, ever. No one ever did that. No one ever came close to dreaming about doing that, and then Pacquiao did it. So the fact that Pacquiao is even competitive with Floyd Mayweather, who's one of the greatest pure boxers ever, do any of us believe that if they were the same size naturally, Floyd would beat Pacquiao? You really think that?
And Kellerman wasn't alone in a sea of dissent. Current boxing star Ryan Garcia publicly backed his claim, stating that he too has always ranked Pacquiao above Mayweather.
Pacquiao's my favorite, and you are right. Yeah. But he did beat Pacquiao, and nobody has changed the game like Floyd Money Mayweather.
He mastered the art of knowing when to fight somebody and when not to fight somebody. I mean, he's the best in that game. He's the best in, making money and making all the, the huge fights happen. But why? Because he was timing every single one of them. He never fought nobody really in their prime. He always
after junior lightweight. At junior lightweight, he did.
He changed the game in the worst way possible. You're right. Everybody's trying to protect their own. I had to break that, right, with Tank. Like, that's one of my idols. Like, I really look up to Pacquiao. Like, people don't know, but like, he's one of the people I look at. I'm like, man, like, this guy is everything I would want to be, you know, as a career, as a fighter, because he did everything, like, you know, with such grace, and he did, you know, put up spectacular fights. He helped out his community. I'm trying to do things similar like that, but me, I'm more of I want to give back to, you know, like the younger generation. I want to help them with like anxiety.
ありがとうございました。スーパー優勝したですね。スーパースターのマリンパッチョ選手、ライアンが
Backing from an active fighter added a whole new weight to Kellerman's argument, proving this debate wasn't just fan drama. It ran deep in the sport's elite circles. It hit at the heart of today's obsession with undefeated records, implying that a flawless record might not be about flawless skill, but flawless matchmaking.
I could really say something negative, I could really say something positive. But when it's all said and done, and we all approach situations in a different way. Rather Tank was to win or he was to be on the other side and take a loss, I would have stood right there behind him, 100%. And it's no different from you guys seeing a lot of times Tank vent out on social media, but I'm right there. He's young. So if I'm with you through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I've always spoke about loyalty.
Nobody would do business with you if you act like this.
But it happens a lot in boxing, though, right?
Oh yeah,
it
because
seems to be
it's
common in
strategic.
boxing. Yeah.
Floyd was telling him all these things.
Floyd's given this counsel to
Yes.
Devontae.
Who do you think is telling him to do the rehydration clauses and not, you know, putting all these stipulations on me? You can't do this, you can't do that. The ring needs to be this size. It's Davis Garcia. It's not. But all these things were all by Floyd. This kid is different. You're gonna say he is different, and you're gonna say I have no worries on whoever he fights. You're gonna say that. Just spend a week with me. That's all I say. Let's go hang out. Let's do what we do. You're going to see something different. And I'm not here to prove myself to nobody. At the end of the day,
no, bro.
Even though people hate Floyd Mayweather, I love Floyd Mayweather. This guy is almost 50 years old, and he's still like taking pictures with all his watches. When I go on a trip for 10 days,
I take 30 watches with me.
If I go on a trip for 20 days,
I take 10 more watches.
If it's a 30-day trip,
Then I bring out the watch that costs $18 million.
and he pulls out like this $1 million.
The digital world erupted. Boxing forums and Reddit threads, especially r/boxing, turned into battlegrounds overnight. The reaction was instant and fiercely divided. For every fan lauding Kellerman's boldness, another accused him of sheer blasphemy. One viral r/Bill Simmons thread even screamed, Max Kellerman just torpedoed 3 decades of goodwill in the boxing community in a single weekend. And that feeling wasn't isolated. Many saw his words as a betrayal of the trusted voice he'd long held as a respected boxing historian.
How much money could you reasonably walk out of this fight with?
350 million.
$350 million.
Yes.
he's like, don't do that shit. You ain't Mayweather. Derek told me never to do that. And I was like, he'll never admit that, but he did say that.
Now, where did that come from then?
I was just doing it. Like, I was just like, all right, like, let me see if this works. It kind of did. Like, he really couldn't hit me for 2 or 3 rounds. Then he started figuring it out. And I'm like, forget this. I'm going to go back to being me.
Others, though, cheered him on. They dug up old clips, highlighting a near-prophetic moment when Kellerman declared Crawford the pound-for-pound best ever since he toppled Breidis Prescott. Looking back, it was clear. This wasn't some flashy hot take. It was a belief planted years ago, now vindicated by Crawford's latest victories.
Great fights never take place, or they take place too late, like Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. They fought too late. I mean, if that fight could have been arranged by Riyadh Season, they probably would have caught them both in their prime, and it would have been chaos.
Yeah, Manny was done before that. It was
and he also had a blown shoulder going into the fight.
Yeah.
He needed shoulder surgery before the fight even started.
The backlash made one thing clear. Kellerman hadn't just shared an opinion. He had ignited a fuse on a powder keg of debate that had been quietly boiling for years.
Of all the fights, you've had 50 pounds, but nothing really was tough. I've been in a boxing gym and guys have given me great sparring and great work. They say an ass whooping will humble you. I go home and say, you gotta tighten up, champ. Yeah. You gotta get it together, champ. And then sometimes I go home and say, is this for me? I make mistakes, but I strive every day to be a perfectionist. And we all know God only made one thing perfect, and that's my boxing record.
And when you examine Mayweather's career the way Kellerman is forcing everyone to, one night inevitably stands out. A night when the entire Money Mayweather legend almost unraveled before it truly began. The date, April 20th, 2002. The opponent, a fierce, relentless champion named Jose Luis Castillo. For 12 punishing rounds, many argue Castillo achieved the impossible. He dominated Floyd, outworked him, even seemed to land the harder shots. With HBO's unofficial scorer Harold Letterman giving the fight to Castillo. Yet, when the final scorecards were announced, it was Mayweather's hand that was raised, in a decision still debated to this day.
I remember that fight like it was yesterday. I do, being a big Floyd Mayweather fan. Floyd didn't really perform well. Castillo was just making it very tough on him. And I remember after the fight, the CompuBox numbers, and I remember the stats, and Castillo landing more power shots. And I was like, uh-oh, because being a fan of Floyd, I was like, man, Castillo, he landed the more effective punches. Then they had total punches, and Castillo landed more there. Floyd Mayweather had one arm against Castillo, and he lost. He clearly lost that fight. Why the judges call it how they called it, that's just boxing. But he lost that fight, okay? And he should. That's what happens. He was injured. Castillo, one heck of a fighter, pressured him and beat him. He should have gotten the nod. So I'm thinking, this is how I feel overall. Floyd Mayweather, he's undefeated officially. We will have to forever say that. He's 50-0. We can't lie. We can't change what it is officially. We can't call him 49-1, 48-2. The guy is 50-0. But Castillo got robbed.
While Floyd would go on to win the rematch more convincingly, the shadow of that first fight has never faded. For Kellerman and other critics, it's the ultimate asterisk on his perfect 50-0 record. A glaring example that Mayweather's flawless career wasn't entirely free of luck or judging that leaned in his favor, leaving a persistent, nagging question. Is the 0 in 50 a mark of untouchable greatness, or a reminder of the night the boxing world saw a path to be him, only for the scorecards to say otherwise? Of course, Kellerman wasn't speaking into silence. The moment his words hit the public, other influential voices had to respond. His longtime debate partner, Stephen A. Smith, was immediately thrust into the fray, sparking their signature fiery back and forth. But the conversation didn't stop there. Fighters like Claressa Shields weighed in on Kellerman's controversial takes on boxing history. It felt as if every corner of the sport, from analysts to active champions, was being drawn into the debate. Some rallied behind Floyd, pointing to his wins over legends as proof of his dominance, arguing Kellerman was suffering from recency bias. Others began dissecting Mayweather's record with fresh scrutiny, giving Crawford's undisputed championships across 2 weight classes newfound weight. What had once been a fringe opinion was now a full-blown mainstream debate. And it begs the question, why now? Why, after years of analyzing Mayweather with respect?
I don't think that Floyd created this as much as people think that he did. You know, he fought Corrales in his prime. He fought Genaro Hernandez at 21 years old, who would still only had 1 loss, and that was to Oscar De La Hoya, and he was a reigning champion. I remember Floyd Mayweather, when he was, and granted, we're not going to compare a 33-year-old Canelo, who's a little bit past it, to an ascending Floyd Mayweather at 21 years old. But Floyd Mayweather, there was 3 major world champions at the time, right? The WBO title was sort of lackluster at the time, but there were the 3 champions were Azuma Nelson was aged, Genaro Hernandez was still rather good and only lost to De La Hoya and Arturo Gatti at the time at 130 pounds. And he took on the toughest of those champions Mayweather did at 21 years old. Usually you'll be looking for a soft touch for your first world title. He took the toughest one on and then dominated the fight. So
wiped him out.
And then he defended against, guys like Corrales. And then he went up to 35 and fought Castillo right away. You know what I mean? So I don't want to hear the whole, is it the Mayweather thing? Mayweather did this later, but he did so much before.
Did Max Kellerman pick this exact moment to drop such a seismic critique? Some think it's tied to his recent career moves. After his headline-making exit from ESPN's First Take, Kellerman has resurfaced as one of boxing's sharpest, most fearless voices. This explosive claim could be a calculated bid to cement that status, or maybe, just maybe, witnessing Crawford's historic rise genuinely changed him. Watching Bud dominate two of the era's best fighters back-to-back may have reshaped his view of what greatness truly looks like. The real motive? Still a mystery, adding yet another twist to this unfolding saga. And right at the center of it stands Terence "Bud" Crawford, where the story takes its most shocking turn. While Kellerman wages a crusade to crown Crawford above Mayweather, the fighter himself seems to quietly disagree. In a stunning revelation, Crawford, known for his composed confidence, continues to hold Mayweather in the highest regard, even siding with him in the ever-burning GOAT debate.
With the way you beat Canelo tonight, Spence a couple of years ago, everyone is going to start making comparisons with your legacy to Floyd Mayweather. How do you feel you compare with Floyd with the resume you have now?
Listen, Floyd was the greatest in his era. I'm the greatest in my era. It ain't no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me.
While Kellerman fans the flames, even fantasizing about a dream showdown between Crawford and a retired Mayweather to settle the debate, Crawford's respect for the legend remains unwavering. It's an ironic, almost poetic tension that twists the narrative in unexpected ways. Why would a fighter at the peak of his career shy away from the crown being offered to him? It's either a testament to Mayweather's lasting influence or a calculated move by Crawford to rise above the drama. In the end, what Max Kellerman did was more than just offer an opinion. Yet the real shock isn't Kellerman's bold stance. It's the response of the man he's championing. This debate has morphed from a simple Mayweather versus Crawford clash into a complex triangle, a fiery argument, a legend's untarnished record, and a current king who may not even want the throne. It begs a deeper question. What does it mean when a fighter's own view of greatness so sharply diverges from that of his most vocal supporters? The sands of boxing history are shifting, and the story has never been more gripping. So, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss what's next. And don't forget, drop your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video.